Hey everybody, it's Scott Blair, the Digital Marketing MBA, and in tonight's video, I'm going to give you a lot of information really fast, a documentary I think you should watch, an app I think you might be interested in using, and just some philosophy about business thinking and planning and actions, etc. This is kind of in reference to the music business mastermind that I'm currently going through with some people off of Instagram. We kind of got a group and we're going together through just 100 days of studying business, stuff outside of music, to try to broaden our horizons and get us looking and thinking more like business people rather than just focused on music, right? But this is going to apply to anybody who really wants to pay attention to what I'm saying. But this is for the freshman class. As we go through this, I hope to inspire them, give them some more information. They've been inspiring me. It's been an awesome experience, but anybody should be able to pick up from this. So one of the things that I did one of the nights, we're trying to put in 100 days of studying, right? 100 hours. So we're doing like an hour a day roughly. And one of the things that I did during this time frame was I watched a documentary on business. So this documentary, I don't know a good place to put this, but we'll just cover her up there. It's called New Money, and it's kind of about the Chinese market and Shenzhen especially, and kind of their startup market and the opportunities for their stock market and some different things. It was a phenomenal documentary. I suggest everybody watch it. Very insightful. Now, it felt a little like propaganda. It felt like a sales commercial, an infomercial to invest in China. But I know from having traveled to about 15 countries, and China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, Taiwan being those countries that I've been to, I know there were some truths to some of this. And I know there was some stuff that was kind of, I guess we would say, exaggerated, right? If you read the reviews, man, on Amazon, it's free on YouTube, this documentary as well. If you read the reviews, it really stirred up hornet's nest. I mean, people are really upset about this. Some really believe in it, believe America's in trouble and China's the future. Other people are very patriotic. Really upsetting. Some really believe this was communist propaganda. Others believe it was the finance company who made it propaganda, a big infomercial. But nonetheless, it's very interesting. It shows you a lot about technology and some things you should think about coming in the future, some things to think about when it comes to China and overseas markets in the future. Overall, I felt it was a great business documentary, whether it might be slanted or not. I'm sure it's slanted a little bit. At the end of the day, I felt inspired by it. I really felt inspired. And that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight. Whenever you feel inspired, because that's a rare thing to really get inspiration. And this commercial, if you will, got me excited. It got me inspired. And so it's been a long time, 2008, 2009, 2010. I lost everything that I had in stocks and investing, and I've been gun shy of the market. The market's been doing so well lately, it's probably a bad time to get in because now we're kind of waiting on the doom to happen again. It's, expansion, recession, expansion, recession. That's the way the economy works, right? And we've been in expansion for a while. But I used to use ShareBuilder as an app to just do some stock trades. And so I went looking for something. ShareBuilder is now gone. I went looking for something. I know Robinhood is a big app that a lot of people use, but something I could buy stock on. And I felt inspired. I wanted to take action. I wanted to buy one of these Chinese stocks. And I found an application you can download on your phone that allows you to do free trades. And that app is called WeBull. And so I downloaded the WeBull app onto my phone. I did a little bit of studying and research about it and learned as much as I could. Really user-friendly, really easy to set up. I got it through an affiliate link from somebody who provided some of that training and information. Because I got it through the affiliate link, they got a free stock and I got a free stock. If you fund the account with $100 within the first 30 days, you get another free stock. So I did that. I put $150 in there, just a little bit of play money, and I got the free stock from the referral, and then I got the free stock for the deposit. Now you can put the 100 in. Once you get your free stock, pull it back out. You don't have to spend that money. But one of the stocks I wanted to buy was from one of the companies I saw in this documentary. I just wanted to get one share. I just wanted to take action from my inspiration. I think the stock was $120, $130, so I just rounded up and put 150 in there. I had some leftover money. I bought a cannabis stock because I don't smoke, but that's a big market that I know is exploding. And then I got my 2 free stocks. Really user-friendly, easy to figure out app. Here's kind of a screenshot of where I'm at right now. So I put $150 in. Remember that, right? This is Baidu. I bought that stock. Looks like I bought it at 104. And then I bought the Aurora Cannabis at 550. Then I got Ford and Mizuho as my free stocks. So at this point, I mean, I got lucky, right? This could have went bad. I could have lost money on these. I'm sure they fluctuate. They go up and down. And this is just a learning experience. This is not my investment plan. This is not my retirement account. This is a learning experience for me. It's a cheap $150 class, right? But the good news is I'm up to $178.56. By taking this class, I not only got smarter, but I actually increased my net worth at this point, right? So all these stocks are up, which is great. I will put a link under this video if anybody wants to use my affiliate link. You can, and you want to do something like this. It's educational. It's very good for you to play a little bit with the stocks and to learn a little bit about these apps and some different terminology. Do you know about margins? Do you know what a drip plan is, a dividend reinvestment plan? You'll pick up some new terminology, but that's kind of the point I wanted to make. You can use that link, by the way, below, and I'll get a free stock and you'll get a free stock. It doesn't cost you anything more if you want to use this app. By all means, you don't have to. You can use Robinhood or not do any of this at all. But this is kind of the points I wanted to make right here. The first is to be exposing yourself to new things, right? So during this 100 hours of studying, you've got to find new things to expose yourself to, challenge yourself, get out and look at some other markets, some other ideas. Watching that documentary exposed me to something that I hadn't thought about or considered recently, or if at all. So I challenge you to start exposing yourself to new things business-wise. Be aware when you're inspired. When I was inspired, I knew that was a rare moment. I wanted to take action. And whenever you feel inspired, take immediate action. That feeling will pass, right? So don't let that pass. When you feel inspired to write something, sit down and write that blog post, make that video, write that song, make that investment, make that phone call. Don't say I'm going to do it tomorrow, because the feeling of inspiration will leave you. I took immediate action. Now I'm invested in it. Now I'm connected to it. Now I learned something. So take that immediate action. That's what I want to challenge you on. That's a skill that you have to learn, to identify your inspiration and train yourself to take immediate action. Sometimes it'll be losses, but you learn from those losses. Then you got to study. So what happened was I learned about China by watching this video. That made me go read more about these companies and more about China. I learned about these forward technologies that are probably coming our way soon. I learned about this company Baidu and some of the others, and I went and read more about them. I learned more about margins. I didn't really understand that. I learned about this application WeBull and versus Robinhood and some other share builder that went away and different things. So now I can have a conversation with some understanding with a business person or somebody out at dinner that I didn't know much about just a few days ago when it comes to China and technology and Baidu and margins and WeBull and investing. And so I've grown a little bit. That's what the 100 hours of study is about, right? Getting smarter a little bit. Am I an investment expert? Absolutely not. If I started a retirement account and made millions off Baidu? Absolutely not. None of that stuff. But I'm a little bit smarter than I was a few days ago. And that's the point. The 100 hours is to make me 100 hours smarter than I was when I started this thing. So you got to take these baby steps, but be aware that was the first time in all the hours that I was super inspired by that. So I took action. Be aware of that. And I keep using the term be aware a lot. And that is one of the lessons that I want to come through tonight as well. Is you've got to be aware of not only when you're inspired, but the opportunities that exist around you. So these China opportunities don't exist around me, but I became aware of them, right? But there are probably some local opportunities because of your inside circle or where you are or who you're connected to that gives you what we might call insider information about business and investing. So right now I'm sending my wife, she's going to go to a training in Chicago to get certified for something that doesn't exist in our city. It's a resource that we use when we're in other cities, but it doesn't exist in this city. So we're going to create it because now we're aware that it's lacking here, right? Because of where we live, the housing market has a big hole in it. If I wanted to, I could use that information to bring in my buddies who own construction companies and build houses and build the type of housing that they're lacking in. I'm aware that that opportunity exists in my city. My wife comes from a small town in another country. We bought property there. That property quadrupled in value very quickly. I now want to buy more property in that town because of its explosive growth. Guess what? You can't do that. You know why? You're not aware of the city. I only know about it because my inside information, because it's where my wife's family is. It's where my wife grew up. So you need to slow down and teach your brain to be aware and to look for these opportunities for business that exist all around you and for connections and for investments, and use that information when possible to your advantage. So I'm using it with the Brazil property. I'm using it with the China thing from the documentary. I'm using it with the certification for my wife and opening up that new business. I'm not using it for the construction piece. It's something I don't want to get involved in. I don't have the money to get involved in. It would be too much work. I don't have the time or the resources, but I'm aware of it. So you should always have in your back pocket a list of things that you're aware that you could do, you could take advantage of, whether you have the means or not. Always be focused on that, looking on that. So I hope that helps you think a little bit more outside the box and about your business approach, and it turns some things on in the brain. But I highly recommend you go watch that documentary. I would download the WeBull app if you want to just start playing with some investments. Just look around and say, what are things that I use, or what are things that I think are up and coming, and buy those stocks. Just put, buy $5 stocks, buy $25 stocks, $100 stocks, just here and there. It will educate you. It will make you smarter, and you might make a couple bucks. You might lose a couple bucks, but it's going to prepare you better for when you really do have some resources and you do have some money. You're not going to sit in a room. So let's take this back to the music. You start making some real money, and now you're sitting in rooms with some really educated investors and managers and attorneys. You don't want to be the dumb guy in the room, or dumb gal in the room. You want to have some experience and some terminology and some understanding of business concepts, right? Because you've been playing with this stuff. I had a friend one time, we were broke kids, and he pulled into a car lot. 18 years old, 19 years old, and he goes in, and I'm not kidding you when I say he literally negotiated with this used car salesman, new car salesman, for about 4 hours. We went from the lot to the office to the manager, back to the office, over and over and over. And the whole time I'm sitting there on this beautiful summer day, we were out supposed to be having fun, highly upset at him. Couldn't believe he was wasting 4 hours of this guy's time and my time and his time, because I knew he didn't have the money, the credit, the work, nothing to buy this car. So after the negotiation, he gets the guy to where he wants, and he says, I got to sleep on it, and we leave. And I get in the car and I say, man, why did you do that? Why did you waste that 4 hours? And he said, it wasn't a waste. He said, brother, I'm practicing for when I do have the money. And it wasn't too many years later that this guy had a brand new $75,000 BMW, maybe 5 years later, 10 years. It wasn't 10 years, maybe 5 or 7 years later. He had that car and treating it like a baby. But you know what? The guy is super frugal, super great negotiator. But he practiced that skill from a young age. He practiced it. I was having lunch with him at a Chinese restaurant, and they tried to get over on him 10 cents on a Coke. I can't remember if it's 10 cents different if you bought it separately, or if the last time he got it, but somehow he knew there was a 10 cents different in that bill because of that soft drink, and fought with him over it. It's a trained skill he's really developed, super frugal. But hey, He's got a lot of nice stuff now, and he's got some really good business skills. So just wanted to challenge you guys in the club, in the mastermind with this, and anybody else who watches the video. Hope you find this helpful. Hope you find it challenging. So go out there, expose yourself to some new things, learn some new things, be aware of your inspiration, get inspired, study, learn, and have a list of opportunities in your back pocket. Hope you found this a blessing.